Hi, everyone. I am so delighted that you've taken some time out of this extremely hot afternoon. My name is Patty McLeod. For those of you who don't know me, it's wonderful to see some familiar faces. Hi, John. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to the official campaign kickoff from my friend Monique Auffrey for Ward 8, City of Calgary. And again, appreciate and thank you for joining us. Before we begin, in the spirit of respect, reciprocity, and truth, we are honoring and acknowledging Mohkinstsis and the traditional Treaty 7 territory and oral practices of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, as well as the Nakota and Tsuut'ina nations. We acknowledge this territory is home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. And finally, we acknowledge all nations, Indigenous or non, who live, work, and play on this land and who honor and celebrate this territory. We also recognize that some guests here today may be from or on different territories. And we'd like to formally honor our guests from Edmonton, which is located on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional lands of the First Nations and Métis people, Shediac, New Brunswick, and Preston, Nova Scotia, and the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq. We have a great itinerary for you planned this afternoon, and just a couple of things we'd like to point out. The event is being recorded and is being streamed on Facebook Live. We do not have an open chat for questions today, but certainly encourage you to reach out directly to Monique and her team by email at monique@ward8.ca. And I'm getting texts. I'm just making sure that they're not telling me I'm doing something wrong. Nope, we're good. So as mentioned, I'm Patty McLeod. I am a lawyer by profession. I have served in a number of communities throughout Calgary, community organizations, and I got to know Monique several years ago in her role as leader of provision. God, I'm going to get that wrong, so I'm hoping Monique corrects me. Anyways, I had Discovery House. I don't know why I said provision. Thank you. I knew that was wrong as I was saying it. You can't trust me. Anyways, Monique inspired me with her vision for change and her vision for leadership, and her lived experience and passion for speaking her truth. And so I was just in love with her from the first moment I met her. I'm truly delighted that she's putting her name forward, as a very, very credible candidate for Ward 8. I am living in Ward 8, so that's exciting for me. And I know that she'll do us proud as a credible contender and an authentic and ethical candidate. So I am really looking forward to the comments today. With all that said, we have a very special guest here with us tonight from Preston, Nova Scotia, who's going to do a much better job than I do of formally introducing Monique. Senator Dr. Wanda Thomas Bernard. And she is not here on official business, but rather as a dear friend of Monique's, knowing much longer term of her background. And so I would now gratefully welcome Wanda to speak.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to join you this evening, Patricia. And I want to say a hello to all of the people who are online supporting Monique Auffrey. When I was invited to participate in your event this evening, I said yes because I think I'm likely one of the people that planted a seed with Monique that she should consider running for public office. I think so. Why did I even do that? I've known Monique for a long time, since she was a student of social work when she started her undergraduate degree at Dalhousie. And then she came back to do her master's degree. And as a young Acadian student, a young parent, young single parent, I was always very impressed with Monique's ability to focus, ability to dedicate her time, her commitment to social justice issues, commitment to family, commitment to community. As an Acadian, and I'm an African Nova Scotian, she and I shared many similar kinds of ideas and experiences around oppression, but also around empowerment and how you facilitate moving out of a state of oppression to get to a place of empowerment. We often talk about women going on pursuing post-secondary education, and it's not just for them. It's really for what they will do with their education. Monique epitomizes that. She truly does. She has used her positions in every position she's held as a social worker, as a leader, as an executive director of many different organizations, both in Nova Scotia and when she moved to Calgary and made her home there. She continued to do this work in community, lifting up others, facilitating the empowerment of others, lifting as she climbed, and always with that deep, deep commitment to social justice and social change, and recognizing her place, her role in doing that. Her commitment now to take her energy and her passion and her compassion into the municipal political arena. Her decision to do that is a decision that I think wasn't made lightly. It's a decision that she made because she believes that she can make a difference. She believes that change is needed in her ward, in her community, and she believes that she has the talents, the capacity, the resources, personal and professional resources, to lead the change. And so it's my great honor and privilege to be joining you today from Nova Scotia to introduce the fabulous Monique Auffrey. Electing Monique as your counselor in Ward 8 will likely be one of the best decisions you will have ever made.
Hi, I'm Monique Auffrey, and I'm running to be your Ward 8 counselor in this beautiful city of Calgary. I'm excited to earn your vote, to work hard for you at City Hall, representing your needs and values each and every day. I commit to answering the phone, reaching out, listening to you, and representing you as you expect me to do. I want to help this city continue to grow in innovative ways. I have the competence and the experience to bring fiscal responsibility, transparency, and accountability. I want to talk about my first pillar, competence. You know, I've been running nonprofit organizations for about 20 years with fiscal restraint, accountability, and transparency. I know how to run multi-million-dollar budgets with expertise and with the competence that you are looking for. I've been doing so with taxpayer dollars and philanthropic dollars, and you can trust that I will bring that business acumen to City Council. Leadership requires courage, and I will not shy away from the difficult conversations. I'll do so with respect, I'll do it in a collaborative way along with my fellow councillors, and I will represent all Calgarians in a way in which we can be proud of. My third pillar is compassion. Why is compassion an important value and characteristic in a city councillor? I'll tell you why. One of the largest portfolios that this city is responsible for is caring for its people. Caring for people and their safety is important to Calgarians, and I've come to learn that Calgarians do care very deeply for their neighbors their families, and their friends. With 20 years of social justice experience, I've worked on the housing, affordable housing, Housing First portfolios. I've worked with victims of domestic violence. I've worked with children to mitigate the adverse childhood experience in order to help build resiliency in children, in families, and in community. I'll bring fiscal prudence, courage. I will be inspiring advocacy, integrity, nonpartisanship, inclusiveness. And at the end of the day, you can count on me to listen to you.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Wanda. That video gave me some time to compose myself after that amazing introduction from Senator Dr. Wanda Thomas Bernard, who is not here on official business, but is here as my friend, my mentor, and my supporter. Thank you. Thank you also to Patty, who gave me such a lovely introduction. It means the world to me. I see my big face on the screen. It might be better to shrink it up a little bit. There are people in the audience this afternoon and evening who I'd like to thank for being here with us. I'd like to point out that my Aunt Alice Rachinsky, who is the Executive Director of Aunts and Uncles at Large in Edmonton, is here. I would like to recognize that my uncle and godfather, Emile O'Brien, and his wife, Yvette, my aunt, from Shediac, New Brunswick, are also here. And my uncle has just recently won the municipal seat of his ward in our hometown of Shediac. So thank you for bringing me your positive winning energy and to come all the way from Shediac to be with us here in Calgary. My friend Karen Gosby, who is the co-chair of the Committee Action on Mental Health and Addiction, which the city approved on July 29th, 2019. And Deborah Prowse, who was also one of the people who encouraged me to put my name forward as a municipal candidate. My many friends and relatives and supporters from near and far, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I really also want to thank the people behind the scenes who made this all possible. David Hohall, videographer, he's here with us tonight as well. Mitch Farmer, web supporter. West Village Marketing, Catherine Valentine and her team. Janet Hughes of Visual Hughes for the campaign photos. Rebecca Anderson, Christine Cusinelli, Jordan Hamilton, Kate Price, Nancy Litzes, thank you all so much for helping me get to where I am today and to get us to the finish line. I also want to thank Andre and Sophie, my mom and dad, and Rachel. Thank you so much. You've been beside me all along, and I really appreciate your love. And to all the people who supported my nomination, thank you so much. It really was what kept me going along the weeks that we were working so hard at collecting the nominations. So here we are tonight, and I feel like I'm in the most courageous and public job interview I've ever had. That's right, Ward 8. It's up to you to hire me to get this job done. And I'm going to go through the process over the next 14 weeks to prove to you that I am the woman for the job. We've heard about my work as a CEO for the last 20 years, and I really believe that being a city councillor has many similarities and requires the competencies that we can draw from as having been CEO. First, as your Ward 8 councillor, you know, you are my boss and you will hire me to do the job and I will work for you. I will be the CEO of your ward. I've got close to 100,000 of you to answer to and to represent. And as a city councillor, I see myself as playing a role as a board member, collaborative board member amongst my council colleagues. So we played the video. It was a little choppy on my end, so I'm not sure how you were able to receive that information, but really my campaign has 3 pillars around my values. The first one being competence, the second one being courage, and the third one being compassion. I do believe that I have the competency you require for the job with the 20 years of CEO experience, the fiscal prudence, balancing budgets, and being accountable to the taxpayer. The courage is really about much of what Wanda spoke about. Leadership requires courage, and many of us who work in the mental health field understand that for those who find it difficult to share their stories, that there's a lot of courage that is required to come forward and break stereotypes and make a difference in the world. And I will bring that courage to City Council. I'm not one to shy away from a difficult conversation or to ignore an issue that I feel is important to tackle or that you will feel is important to tackle. And I promise you that I will bring that courage to the table. And the last value tenet is compassion. And as I've mentioned in the introductory video, compassion is important in a city councillor because we are here to serve the people. And our people are looking to us, our communities, our friends, our neighbors, etc., are looking to us to understand the needs and wants that they have within their neighborhoods and within their homes and within the city. So the compassion really speaks to understanding where people are coming from, because we all have different sets of values and interpretations, but certainly being able to understand why affordable, accessible housing is important, why we need services in the downtown core to attend to residents and consumers of services, and the largest portfolio of this municipality is its people and their safety. So those are the 3 value statements that I wanted to share with you, and you'll be able to read about them on the website, and you can reach out anytime, and I'll be really happy to help address any questions that you have around some of those issues. So I now wanted to move into what my interpretation, my perspective of this beautiful and vibrant Ward 8 in the city of Calgary. We are so blessed to be living in a city like Calgary, in a country like Canada, that affords us so much privilege and access. And Ward 8 is no exception. It is geographically the heart of the city, but it's also the heartbeat of the city. It has large and small businesses, the economy, the economic center, the arts, and learning are found in Ward 8. There are so many social services within our ward as well, and within our neighborhoods. And I've been listening to what the people of Ward 8 tell me is important to them. And it is a diverse ward with many different and unique attributes and challenges. The Beltline has so many of the city's wonderful small businesses. We enjoy the residential scene of the downtown as well, and we look forward to continue to grow and innovate so that residents of the downtown can fully enjoy all the amenities like schools and green spaces, etc., while we also look to the downtown core for business innovation and the arts. Sonalta is such a strong community-oriented neighborhood in our ward. They value their community garden. They are growing an innovative hub in their community, and they deliver social services through their own efforts in getting grants to serve the residents of Sonalta and all of Calgary. Scarborough has unique heritage attributes and a desire to retain some of what makes their community unique and interesting. And I remember attending marches at the Scarborough United Church in support and solidarity of the missing and murdered Indigenous women, Sisters in Spirit marches where people, supporters gathered at the Scarborough United Church. I've heard that Marda Loop has issues with parking and that the residents who I've spoken to are really hoping that we can talk about what that means and looks like for them. Nob Hill in Richmond is talking a lot about green space. Curry is talking about their efforts in reconciliation and what that means for them as a community. And some of my neighbors here in Killarney have concerns about new build height restrictions with regard to development and densification in the neighborhood. So I've only pointed to a few of the over 20 neighborhoods that are found in Ward 8. And I look forward to sharing the ideas and interests of other residents of the multiple wards that I haven't had the opportunity to share for the purposes of timing tonight. But now I want to shift gears, and I've asked a few friends for feedback. Well, I forgot to mention that before I even started tonight, I asked friends, give me your best advice on how I should present tonight and what I should be presenting on. And the first piece of advice I got was, don't be Captain Obvious. Talk about your why. Talk about the issues that matter that you've heard. So I'll start with my why. Why am I running? Wanda spoke very beautifully about why I am running and what would compel me to run. But in my own words, again, I'm going to focus more on the business case of what I bring to the table. And I really do believe that with 20 years of experience running community serving organizations at the CEO level, that I bring business analysis and acumen that Ward 8 needs. I've also sat on many boards as a board member, so I understand strategy, planning, impact, governance at every level. I come with knowledge of the city's funding of community service organizations and the human serving organizations. And I know what it takes to interpret measurement and outcomes. It's not just looking at stats and facts, but how to interpret them and what kind of impact they're going to have on the day-to-day lives of the people of Ward 8 and of the city. I grow organizations to achieve optimal success, and I believe that I'm the candidate with all of that. And to top it all off, from a community serving perspective, the experience in housing, addiction, mental health, crime prevention, work with children, youth and families they are all part of the business case that I bring to the table. On a personal level, I'm an empty nester at this point. I'm very proud to say that my daughter has now graduated from high school and will be attending post-secondary university in the fall, and I couldn't be more proud. So as an empty nester, I have a different level of ability to bring my time and wisdom to my community, and that's been important to me. And secondly, I was incredibly spiritually and personally moved by Amanda Gorman, Poet Laureate's poem at the US presidential inauguration, "The Hill We Climb." Because what it said to me is that we are ready to lift women up and that we are ready to bridge differences in our communities. And she closed her poem with the following: There is always light. If only we are brave enough to see it, if only we are brave enough to be it. And that resonated with me at a deep level. And as nervous as I am tonight in some way in presenting to you all, it's coming from a place of deep authenticity and pride and joy. But I am a woman who's entering politics with a lived experience. Wanda mentioned that I started my master's as a young single mom. But I've also used my voice and story as a survivor of domestic violence to show resilience, the resilience within ourselves and the resilience that we know we can build in community. I can connect my expertise as a professional and as a CEO with my personal experience with organizations in our city to continue to build that resiliency. And there's so much amazing work that so many of us are aware of through the social profit organizations such as CUPS, Two Wheel View, and Alpha House, just to name a few that are right here in our ward, Ward 8. And lastly, on a personal note, why am I doing this? You know, Simon Sinek always says, start with your why. I'm doing it for my daughter. And I'm also doing it for my young nephew, Samuel. Because when I faced a time of transition and I asked my family what should come next for me, he was the second person to suggest that I run for political office. And what that said to me is that he doesn't see a barrier in a woman entering politics. So what wonderful opportunity it is for me at this stage of my life and career to throw my name in the hat. And so this is why I'm doing it. Some people have asked why it took me so long. You know, there are candidates who came out earlier, and we have some very strong candidates in Ward 8. That is very true. But the very simple answer, but it's a profound answer to that question, is my experience of grief and loss. Many of you know that I lost my husband to cancer in 2018. My daughter lost her father to suicide the year after in 2019. But it was in March, while I was busy collecting nominations and working at having conversations with my colleagues in Calgary, that we learned that a very close family friend, a very dear friend, special friend, a 19-year-old mom of a 2-year-old boy, died accidentally of an opiate overdose. And she lived in Ward 8 as well. In fact, she lived in the Beltline. She was getting treatment, and she was supposed to leave Calgary because she didn't feel safe here anymore. She has left behind a young son. This occurred in the early days of my nomination process. But I'm running for you in Ward 8 because I don't want anyone else, any other parent or any other friend or any other neighbor, to have to deal with that depth of loss and suffering. So, these are heavy, but they are important to be discussing. And I promise that I will bring a depth of experience and personal knowledge to this ward and to this city. I'm really excited. I'm a future-focused person. I am a person of deep resilience, but a positive attitude. And I do enjoy a challenge. I enjoy applying what I know and working toward change. And, you know, Wanda, if you're still on the call, I hope you are. You know, you taught me how to be a positive disruptor. You taught me how to use my mind critically, how to use my experience and to think about the world in different ways. And you taught me that it's systems that are broken, not people. And I want to bring that to the conversation as well, particularly as we start to talk about some, the three main areas that I continue to hear people want to talk about, whether it's the economy, the downtown core, neighborhoods, but also safety. And safety is so important. Safety from a mental health perspective, safety from a housing perspective, housing or safety from any other more obvious places that one would expect to feel safe. But as we struggle through some of the issues around racism, for example, we are suffering with Islamophobia, we are suffering with women feeling unsafe to be walking in the downtown core. It's important for us to understand that in order to feel safe, that we all need to come together. And the answer is not to be divided. The answer, in my opinion, and through my training, is to look at the systemic oppression that keeps people marginalized and suffering. So I am looking very much forward to elevating a conversation around how we can do that, bring justice to the conversation, to allow people to feel safe in their community, to feel safe wherever they happen to find themselves, and to bring new energy and new ideas to City Council. I have friends on the call tonight who own small businesses in the downtown, and the downtown revitalization is incredibly important. There is new energy around innovation on bringing new talent to the city, and there are new ways of thinking about funding streams to look at our city's municipal allocations of revenue versus expenses. And I'm really excited to continue hearing what some of those ideas are. Calgary has always been a leader in innovation. Calgary has always been a leader in big thinking. And Calgary has always persevered and weathered some pretty significant storms with resilience. So let's talk about agri-tech. Let's talk about artificial intelligence technology. Let's talk about clean tech. Let's talk about why others, like myself, have chosen Calgary to make their lives, to live, work, and play. And with that energy and enthusiasm, a sense of safety, a sense of belonging, we are just going to have a very exciting future ahead of us. I am looking at the time. It's 5:07. I feel like I've spoken at length about what my values are and who I am as a woman, my reasons for running, my reason for my delay. And I know people are really hot and they've had a long day and you probably want to get out and have a glass of water. But you know how to reach me. My website is now live. We have a short little surprise video that's come up at the last minute, and I thank Christine once again and David for helping us to bring it to you. But there are just a few words of endorsement from some family and friends that we felt we wanted to share with you. And then I'll say goodnight after we play the little clip.
Hi there, my name is Fred Connors and I'm coming to you from Halifax, Nova Scotia, where a huge void was created when Monique Auffrey decided to leave our humble little city and head west to Alberta. I've had the pleasure of working alongside Monique at Family SOS, where I sat on the board of directors, and she was our intrepid executive director. And I saw her take our scrappy little organization and move it forward in such courageous ways that it was able to grow and grow and grow under her care. And now she's running for council for Ward 8. And during any election cycle, we tend to hear phrases like passionate for the community and deeply caring on key issues, which is what everybody says when they're running for public office. But it takes more than that. Determination, perseverance, grit, and an ability to take negative odds and turn them into positive outcomes is what it really takes, on top of passion and caring, which Monique has already demonstrated that she has, to lead a constituency to a better tomorrow. And Ward 8, if you're listening, Monique is your counselor. She has gone through all of the hard stuff and has always come out on top. She has learned from every challenge that she has ever faced, and she has moved every organization she has worked with forward in very meaningful ways, and she'll do that for you too.
Hi, Dr. Monique. How are you? We love you. Miss you. Good luck on the campaign.
Wow. Fred, thank you for that endorsement. Beautiful words, and thanks for reminding me of all the fun we had working together in Halifax. Really appreciate that, and I can't help but smile and just want to give those nephews and niece of mine a great big hug. So on that note, thank you again for joining. My website is up, and again, I'm thanking Catherine Valentine and the team at West Village. It was beautifully done, and although, you know, if there's a place we might have to add more information or whatever we need to do, you just please let us know what your thoughts are. I do need more help with volunteers. I'll be happy to receive your contact information. If you can give us a hand, that would be just lovely. And I want to give a shout out to my team again: Christine Cusinelli, Catherine Valentine, Jordan Hamilton, Kate Price, Rebecca Anderson, Nancy, and I really hope I haven't missed anyone. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. And Wanda, I can't wait to throw my arms around you and give you a great big hug as well.